Offer sheets are all the rage in the NHL right now after the St. Louis Blues signed two Edmonton Oilers to offer sheets that were not tendered by our Albertan rivals. With the Blues proving that you can pull off the sneakier side of the business, two Calgary Flames writers have proposed a boatload of offer sheets that the Flames could look at signing in the next couple of seasons. We're going to get to all of that and more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family, and the content in this video, it's gonna be great. And you know what else is great? Have you heard that the flavored air category is quickly becoming the leading alternative to vaping and smoking? It's a whole new movement toward better habits, like the good habit of being a Flames fan, led by the sponsor of today's video, Fume. If you haven't heard of flavored air, I can tell you right now that it's not like vaping. If vapor was compared to sticky soda, fume cores are closer to herbal teas. With flavored air, you can satisfy your oral fixation through a passive diffusion system that utilizes no electronics, vapor, or combustion, so you can use it anywhere. Fume is safe to use as they continuously invest in third-party studies to ensure the safety of their products and are backed by doctors in the US. I know most Flames fans are stoked for the opening of Scotia Place in the near future, but another thing you can be stoked about is drawing flavor to your mouth without using nicotine. There's many delicious flavors including cinnamon, spearmint ice, and black licorice, and I recommend trying them all. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be the next success story. For a limited time, use my code DIGEST to get your free topper. It's the perfect accessory to your Fume device. Slip it onto the mouthpiece for a softer, warmer feel. It's chewable for those who love to fidget, and it's reusable. Head to tryfume.com, that's tryfum.com, and use code DIGEST or scan the QR code on screen to get your free Fume topper when you order your Journey Pack today. No, seriously, you should go check out Fume stuff. They have some amazing, amazing stuff going on there. But we have got offer sheet upon offer sheet to talk about here, and we're going to have two articles from two different Flames writers. So let's start with writer number one, and it is a great one here from the hockey writers that we go to quite a bit. And it is, without further ado here, let's hop into the first article. It is by Rupert McDonald. Again, such a great writer. If you haven't checked out his stuff, it's really worth reading. But here we go. For RFA's Flames, management should consider signing to offer sheets. The 2024-25 season is less than 2 months away, yet there are still many players who have true star potential that remain RFAs. Normally, this wouldn't mean a whole lot, as RFAs often take some time before agreeing to terms on a new deal. While offer sheets are always a possibility, they're so rare that teams don't seem to fear the opportunity of dealing with one. That's now changed. And you think back to a couple years ago when the Hurricanes signed Kotkaniemi to an offer sheet and it went through. You think way back when the Flames tried to sign Ryan O'Reilly to an offer sheet, that would have been nuts. But now that it is confirmed that the Edmonton Oilers will not tender the deals offered, I suppose, by the St. Louis Blues, that Philip Broberg and Dylan Holloway are officially St. Louis Blues now. There's been another couple deals going on, but either way, it's crazy that offer sheets have become a reality because, let's face it, it is insane. They're so rare. It's so fun. Now, the next thing I'm going to show is actually the conclusion of this article, but it goes well also as an introduction before we get into the players themselves. So, are offer sheets worth the risk? The thought amongst fans is that offer sheets generally don't take place as front offices don't want to irritate one another. And we just saw that the Blues sent, a 2028 third round pick or something like that to the Oilers just so that, no one's PO'd at anyone else. I don't know what's going on there. Clearly just Doug Armstrong is a really nice guy over in St. Louis. I don't know why, they felt they had to do that when it's part of the business, but whatever, nice man. While it can certainly do that, the reward outweighs the potential risk. The Blues decided to take that risk and could soon end up with two very good young players on their roster as a result, which, since this article has been written and published, has actually happened. The Flames should take note of that and consider the offer sheet approach moving forward, whether this offseason or in the years to come. So we're going to look at some for potentially soon or later on. It's just an interesting route the Flames could take as they go through these kind of rebuild renovation days when we won't be the most competitive team. But the first one that I was going to show, and the first one from the article, is Matty Beniers, but right before I started recording, he was actually signed to an extension, got locked up by Seattle. I think it was 7 years, over $7 million a season. So this could have been a good option, but now that'll have to wait another 7-8 years before the Flames can try and sign Beniers to an offer sheet. Congratulations to him on his contract. It's too bad we couldn't get the content for this one. But let's hop into the real first one, which will be Dawson Mercer, a man we have spoken about a ton on the channel over the months through the Jacob Markstrom trade rumor saga. His name was almost always involved in there, and Markstrom did end up going to New Jersey. Mercer wasn't part of the package, but the Flames could find a way to still bring him out west. So yet another RFA who plays a position the Flames could use help in is Dawson Mercer. Though Mercer doesn't have as high of a ceiling as Beniers, he is an exceptional young talent in his own right. He's hit the 20-goal mark twice in his 3 NHL seasons and had a career-high 56 points in 2022-23. I know the stats from last season weren't exactly eye-popping. He regressed a little bit, but we know that if he were given literally, a top-line center role, which he could have here in Calgary if he really wanted to, he could explode into a great player. And why not? It's not like the offer sheet would be all that expensive. This isn't a bad option at all. I will also say, some of the offer sheets in this video might be a little bit outlandish. This first article, it's pretty realistic. The second one might be a little bit crazier, but either way, I wouldn't mind trying any of the guys in this video, but Dawson Mercer is definitely could be a way to go. Now, the next one is Nick Robertson of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So though not the same caliber player as Beniers or Mercer, a cheaper option the Flames could consider is Nick Robertson. The 22-year-old doesn't seem all too willing to return to the Toronto Maple Leafs after requesting a trade following the conclusion of last season. There is some legitimacy to that report, but it's kind of weird right now. Not too sure if he will end up being traded. It's weird. We know how Brad Treliving works. He's probably going to end up making a terrible trade. We'll just have to wait and see. But the Flames could go after Robertson. He's a very good young player. There's just too many players in Toronto's forward core that are better than him and have been given a better opportunity. Robertson has been honestly great when he has gotten into the lineup. He just isn't given enough ice time, no power play time. The Flames signed him to an offer sheet. He could turn into the great player he was expected to be. He could be just like his brother, if not better. Imagine him on a line with Huberdeau and a really good center. I know you can swap around who plays what wing, but either way, it would be absolutely nuts. Now, last one from this article is Thomas Harley, the defenseman of the Dallas Stars. Aside from Moritz Seider, the most intriguing RFA defenseman is Thomas Harley. The 22-year-old really burst onto the scene this past season, registering an impressive 15 goals and 47 points in 79 games. There were points in the season where he was the top scoring D-man, or was at least right up there with MacKenzie Weegar, of course. But either way, he is so good at such a young age. That appears to only be the beginning for the young defenseman who was selected 18th overall in 2019. And I know the Flames have a lot of good young defensemen in the pipeline now, but Thomas Harley isn't a gamble. He is a certified NHL caliber player and a very good young one at that. I really want to develop the younger guys in our pipeline, like a Zane Parekh, Hunter Brustevich. But Thomas Harley is a good offensive defenseman as well, who doesn't need to prove anything more at the junior level or, in some of maybe not as high of leagues. This is the NHL we're talking about. He really can get it done. That way, if we do get him, we could offer up maybe some of our younger defensive prospects in trades and any other sort of deals. It's not a bad option at all. I like the thinking here. Great stuff from Rupert McDonald once again. Now let's get into the second writer of this video. And like I said before, this section, these ones might be a little bit more outlandish. I know they go into next season most likely, but here we go. From the Hockey News, Jim Parsons once again. So offered sheet candidates the Flames might look at next summer. So not this summer, next summer. I think the reasoning behind that is because there are actually quite a lot of layers and logistics to the offer sheets. I haven't spoken about them yet, but essentially, the Flames don't technically own their first round pick this year, which they would have to offer up if one of their offer sheets weren't tendered. So it's interesting. They would have to trade back for it from Montreal. St. Louis did a similar thing with Pittsburgh, I think it was. But either way, there's a lot of levels to it. So let's take a look even further into the future, but still in this window of kind of this rebuilding phase. So the Calgary Flames aren't in a window to contend right now, but might there be any RFAs worthy of offer sheets next summer? Let's hop into the first one here. Jake Ottinger. I know this would be a crazy expensive offer sheet. You can see it there. The offer would be 6 years, $9.5 million per season. And once again, we have a Dustin Wolf. But just like Thomas Harley, you know, has nothing to prove. Ottinger has nothing to prove at the NHL level. Dustin Wolf, we have all the optimism and hope in him that he will develop into a great goalie. But with Ottinger, we wouldn't have to worry about that. But either way, Jake Ottinger is a potential future Vezina Trophy winner with a ton of upside. He hasn't signed a new extension with the Dallas Stars yet. He's got one more season on his current contract at a $4 million cap hit, and then it's expected he'll earn a hefty raise, and he really will. And you know what? We also know how good he can play in the Saddle Dome. Well, and maybe even Scotia Place. We know how well he can play in Calgary. He almost single-handedly knocked us out of the 2022 playoffs on his own. I was at one of the games where he shut us out. That is how good he was. We hope he could be that good if he were to become a Flame. Either way, I know this one is crazy. It's insane. Literally, like the title. This is wild. But either way, it's worth taking a look at. We will just have to wait and see. The next one here, Evan Bouchard. You saw him in the thumbnail, but 7 years at $9.2 million per season. This would be a crazy one as well, depending on kind of the salary situation for the Oilers. But let's get in. An interesting name from just up the road in Calgary would be Oilers defenseman Evan Bouchard. One of the consequences of potentially matching on Broberg and Holloway would have been Edmonton painting the organization into a financial corner over the next couple seasons. They obviously didn't match the offers, so they don't have to worry about those guys' salaries, but still, it could get a little sticky by the end of next year. The Oilers didn't match with long-term negotiations being one of the reasons. Will they still be able to afford Bouchard? We'll have to wait and see. He might have to take some sort of discount. Maybe one of the other big names from Edmonton will have to depart. We'll have to see. It seems like they're able to swing trades that help them. I couldn't believe San Jose traded for Cody Ceci and his contract. They just gifted the Oilers that. I don't know why certain teams are trying to gift the Oilers. Like St. Louis, Doug Armstrong sending a 2028 third-round pick for no reason. What's that all about? Either way, Bouchard could be worth taking a look at. It's similar to Thomas Harley, but a lot more expensive. So we'll just have to see. I mean, it really doesn't make all that much sense for our plans for the future of the organization. But anything that takes a little stab at Edmonton, I'm down for, of course. Now, the next one, which is actually the last one of the video, you saw him in the thumbnail as well. It is Matthew Knies. Very nice. 2 years at $4.55 million. So, you know, a very realistic offer sheet offer for once. How much are the Toronto Maple Leafs prepared to pay Matthew Knies? With their core four signed to big contracts, this becomes a key question if the Leafs bring back Marner and Tavares. If Marner is traded and Tavares signs a team-friendly deal, Toronto should have all sorts of cap space, and Knies, of course, would be one of the biggest priorities. But if the Leafs don't prioritize Knies, he could be an offer sheet target. Is he exactly what the Flames need? No. Would he be bad in this organization? Of course not. You know, he's a really good player. He was one of the Leafs' best players in the playoffs this year against Boston. You know, he scored that overtime winner, he's got so much to his game. You know, he's really handsome. So usually people think the handsome guys just play the pretty boy game. No, he can get down and dirty and he can score too. Might be worth taking a look at for Calgary. I don't hate this one at all. We'll just have to wait and see what the Flames decide to do with all of these offer sheets. That's what's going crazy right now. Now let's wrap up this video with the comment of the day, as we love to do around here. And this one could kind of just be a universal one, to be quite honest with you. But it comes from our boy Gabby Flores. And he said, love it. It's going to be a tough year, but loving Craig so far. That has to do with kind of the plans being revealed for the future from that video from a few days ago. But either way, Craig has done some great stuff. He really has the best interest of the franchise for the future. It seems like certain GMs come into certain situations and try and make them worse. Craig has not been one of them. We trust in him. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe, like what you saw here today. Make sure you try out Fume and have a wonderful rest of your day.